Welcome once again to your weekly update from the city of New Hope as we march into September. Time to check in with the mayor to find out what's new in the city and what is coming up. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Well, thank you. It's early autumn, as you can see by that one little tree in the back there that's changing red. But that one changes early every year. I'm not willing to give up on summer just yet.
No, not yet. You're going to head out there to the golf course, so we'll get people up to date. Tell about the golf course in a few minutes. A lot to tell you about scattered site housing and also some news from the police department that you're going to want to hear. But let's start with one property that we've been focusing on that is in a park, but now through some zoning changes is not in a park. Bring us up to date on what has happened there and what's going to happen soon.
Well, anytime we add an address or subtract an address, we have to go through Hennepin County because they need to know that the property's been changed. So that's been done. And of course, we sent out the demolition bids. We awarded the contract. What happens now is community development, along with our public works department, meets with the demolition team, and they'll do that with all the other houses too, to just make sure that they understand exactly what we want demolished, what we want moved, what we're saving. Once that's done, and before they start the demolition, they're going to have a live burn there on the 5th of October. What happens with that with the fire department, they will come in the morning and start little fires inside the house. Not a whole lot of fun to watch that. But at the end of the day, and I'm guessing somewhere along 2, 3 o'clock, they'll actually have a live burn. And you can come and watch that. You'll have to be behind barricades because they don't want you too close. And a lot of the fire trucks will be there so the fire doesn't get out of hand. After that's done, then the demolition team comes in and they remove everything else that needs to be removed. And then they will have them regrade the property and seed it, and then it will just become part of the park. And that was the other thing we had to do, is we had to change the zoning on that one house to a residential, from residential to park. So lots of stuff to be done with that house, but it's going to be kind of fun to watch it go through the process.
Yeah, quite the process there as it moves along. Let's go to scattered site housing. A lot of properties to talk about here. The first is 4205 Boone Avenue. Looks like this one is about finished.
Well, these are the two houses where Treehouse used to be. The one on the corner is done and sold, and somebody's living there. The second one, they're going to close the end of September sometime, and then somebody will move in. It doesn't look like it's entirely finished yet, but typically they close and then they finish up with the stuff. Now, both those houses, you'll notice they have T-shaped driveways, and that's so that cars can back out of the garage into that concrete, and they don't have to back onto Boone Avenue. I thought that was pretty innovative thinking to save them the distress of backing onto Boone Avenue.
Exactly. Next property to talk about is 4220 Nevada, and this is one that we've talked about involved in a lot split. Tell us more about that splitting process.
Well, right off of 42nd Avenue, there was an older house with a detached garage, and it's big enough for two sites. So instead of 75 feet wide, they're going to be just under 65 feet wide. So what'll happen with that is demolition bids have been sent out. We'll get that back. We'll decide on the team that's doing the demolition. We'll tear that down. Then we'll have to have it regraded, and also however they do the lot split. So we'll know exactly where the lots are. In the meantime, they have sent out requests for proposals for two houses to be built there. Those requests will come back in. The city council will look at them. We'll pick out a developer for the two houses. It may be two developers. It may be one. Not sure. But the process is in the move right now.
Now up to the 5400 block of Virginia. A couple properties here to talk about, and they are in the get ready for demolition stage. It looks like some activity happened last week to make that process move along.
It did. So those two houses, we've sent out the bids for demolition. They have to be back by the 11th of September, and then we'll vote on the demolition team that's going to do that. Those two are pretty straightforward. I think they're going to do some police training and some fire training, not a live burn, because they're too close to the other houses. But it's a good way for the police to come in and do the training. When the demolition teams come in, what they do is they make sure that they cut off the gas, the electric, the water, all those utilities, so they don't have any of that going on. So after that's done and they do some training, then they will go in and tear those houses down. They have 2 months, by the way, from the time the bids come in and awarded to have them tore down. So I think it's about the middle of November that they need to be done with that process. I don't think, in the meantime, we will send out requests for proposals for new houses we build. I don't think we'll have time to get those started yet this year, but we'll get some developers in there will be able to get started in the spring.
Very good. 5692 Boone Place. We've been following this property for some time, and it's hard to believe it is already about at the finish line, but this one is about ready for people to look at that house.
It is. Well, I believe it's sold. I'm not sure. So that's the one right off of Medicine Lake Road in Boone. The house is up. It's pretty much finished. I think they have a buyer. I thought I saw that they were going to close at the end of September. So we'll see what happens with that.
Now up to the 7900 block of 50th, a couple of properties here, again, involved in a lot split. How are things moving ahead here?
Pretty much the same thing as the other ones. We seem to have bought a whole bunch of houses all at once. And so there's just a lot of stuff happening all at once. So every time the demolition team goes in there, so goes the community development guys and public works, just to make sure that they know what's expected of them and what we're looking for them to do, and not get the streets too dirty in the process of doing that. So those bids are back up. We awarded the demolition contracts. Again, they have 2 months. In the meantime, we'll send out proposals to get builders for the homes.
Final property is 8024 50th Avenue, and this is one, again, that is going to be a site of some training as it goes through the early stages here. Is that correct?
Well, that's going to be mostly police training in that house. There will be, if they can, there'll be some fire training, but not a full live burn, just because of where it's located. So that house is also in the process. I would guess after all of these get the demolition done, we probably are done buying for the end of this year, because then it gets to be too late, and it's hard for these developers or even the demolition teams to sign contracts when they don't know what the winter weather is going to be. So pretty much we won't be able to talk about it much after another couple of weeks.
We're at that busy point of the activity right now before they button things up. Another thing community development very involved in is the business community, and they have a business networking group meeting coming up soon at a special location with a special speaker. Tell us more.
Okay, so that's going to be September 4th. They're going to have it at Pocket Square. That's where the old Mountain Mud used to be, right off of 42nd. It's Community Connections, no, Choice Connections is the name of the group that's doing it. They'll give you a little talk about what Choice Connections are, and then they'll just have the normal business networking meeting. So this is open to all people in Crystal and New Hope, businesses or just people that are interested in what's going on. So it's free, 2 o'clock, stop by.
Happens once a month, so make sure you get there for September. Now to the police department, a few items to bring you up to date on here. And a great part of the last city council meeting was the swearing in of a new officer. Tell us more about the new member to that team.
Oh, that's always exciting. So the chambers were full, which is really fun. And most of them were there for the new swearing in. So a woman got sworn in as new officer. That means she's completed a whole year of being on probation. And they do that so they make sure that this officer is ready to hit the streets. So we swore her in. It was really kind of exciting. And then the second thing we did is we did this thing called Growth Through Opportunity with 2 special needs cadets. They finished the program, so their graduation certificates were issued to them. And so there were some people there to watch that. Interestingly, when those 2 things were done, the council chambers were empty. Everybody cleared out.
No one was staying for the rest of the business, apparently.
It's so exciting. I don't know why they leave.
That's right. Another element that happens within City Hall on a regular basis is partnership between departments, and police got some training from West Metro. Why was this necessary?
Well, because we don't want to go outside if we have to do training. So sure. By the rules of all of the staff, the police staff have to have CPR and first aid training. And so the firefighters, who are all certified, most of them are certified in doing that, actually train our employees. So the fire department is separate from the city. There were a joint powers agreement, but we get to send them right across the aisle, and they get trained by our fire department. So saving everybody a lot of money, and everybody gets good training.
Final note about the police department is I know a lot of families in New Hope were busy with open houses at schools. Well, believe it or not, the police department was at some of those open houses. Why was this part of their activity?
Well, they try to be out in the community as much as they can. So we have the North Education Center, which is ninth through 12th grade. Uh, and they went in there just for the open house. We want the kids to see the police officers in uniform and know that they're a nice, safe person to go to if they need somebody.
Mhm.
They also went to Sonneson School, and that's where the little kids are. And again, they want the little kids to see the police officers and know they're a friendly face and they're there to help.
And a note about the schools getting started today, too. I'm sure there's school buses out and around the city of New Hope now, so take some extra time if you're by those school buses. To Public Works, let's talk about that crew. They're busy doing some of that transition from summertime to fall time with some of the lawns in the area.
Oh, these guys are doing all kinds of stuff. So there were some tire ruts on Medicine Lake Road, and so they're filling those in. They're overseeding the athletic fields to get some seed down and maybe get it started before the heavy duty playing on those athletic fields. They're doing some sidewalk trimming of the trees that are hanging over the sidewalk, so they did that. We have a strip of land right by the golf course next to the fence. It's only about 3 feet wide. They went in and cleaned all that out so it didn't look so messy and overhanging. And then, of course, they're going out with the demolition teams.
Mm-hmm. Check on those. All right, let's talk about one of the street projects that people have had an eye on. This is Louisiana and 31st. How are things moving along there?
Well, this project, like any of our other projects, they try to mail out an update of 500 feet from the property.
Hmm.
And that's so everybody can know exactly what's going on. You can also go online and look, but what's happening on 31st in Louisiana is they had to move one of the fire hydrants. So to do that, they have to shut off the water. So of course they had to let the businesses know that the water is going to be temporarily shut off. They do all the background work they could do, so they minimize the amount of time that the water is actually shut off. So they shut it off, and that's when they do the connections, and then they get it all check it, and then turn it back on. So they're really quite efficient at doing this. They try to minimize the amount of time that a business or a household is without water.
All right, let's move to Park and Rec, and this is going to become a key document for you to use at home over the next couple months as you get ready for activities here in September, and as you can see by the picture, October and through the fall and winter. And if we go to page 5 and 6, Mayor, I understand there's some sign-up information that could be valuable for a lot of families.
Well, this is the time to sign up for dance and gymnastics, because they don't have another sign up in the spring. This is just the time to do it. So look on those pages, see if that's something that's of interest to you. Keep in mind that we do have scholarship programs. So if you go in with your driver's license to prove you're a New Hope resident, you might be able to get the fee paid half price. I don't know about dance if it's half, or the gymnastics, but you should check and see if you qualify that. And if you do, this is a good time to do that. So you have to sign up because the classes start probably the end of September.
Okay, very good. And here is page 5. You see some of the happy dancers right there getting ready for the next season and hoping you join them. Let's go out to Music in the Park. We had one of the final performances and understand that one of the groups that we've been waiting for to perform keeps getting rained out, so it may not happen this year.
So we've had our last Music in the Park. That was last week, and the Dollies were playing on Wednesday. And on Thursday, the Steel Drum Band was supposed to be. And of course, you remember back to Thursday, it rained pretty hard. The problem was it rained really hard till about 6 o'clock, and then it got beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But by then, we had to cancel that one too. So we're probably not going to get them back this year. Maybe next year we'll get them.
Well, hats off to the staff involved in Music in the Park and to all the sponsors that helped make that possible. Let's talk flag football. They are getting ready for their season. What is happening now as they're about ready to hit the fields?
Well, of course, we need coaches. And they did some coach training last week. We're always looking for more coaches. If you choose to be one of the coaches, your child can play for half price. So these kids are going to start their practice this week, the little flag football kids, all ages, by the way. And they separated by little groups, 5 and 6, 6 and 7, or 5 and 6, 7 and 8. They're just by little groups so that big kids are playing with these little kids.
Mhm.
So all that practice is going to start this week, and they're going to start over at Becker Park.
Watch for those players out there. Let's talk about employment opportunities with the city through Park and Rec. There's obviously very varied ones throughout the year, some in the summer, a little bit more summer and springtime, but now we're looking at something fall through spring. What is the job opportunity through Park and Rec?
Well, we have part-time use of the gym at Cooper, and they're always looking for gym attendants. Basically, that's the person that is there when there's an activity going on, not a school activity, but a Park and Rec activity. So they're the ones that make sure that people get in, make sure the chairs are put up, put away, make sure the door is locked when they leave. So they're looking for attendants. They'll train you. They'll give you everything you need. It's a paid position, but it is part-time. So if you're interested, you can always call the Park and Rec department and tell them you're interested in being a gym attendant.
More information about that job opportunity on the city's website, newhopemn.gov. Let's go to the golf course. Talk about something new at the course. Here are a few pictures to show you. Someone's been busy around the fourth tee and also throughout the course. Who is busy there and what has happened?
Well, very often, always, an Eagle Scout, to get their Eagle Scout, they have to have a project that's sustainable. And so their project this year was to rebuild the walking bridge on the fourth tee and also put a bunch of duck houses around the pond. We try really hard to accommodate these Eagle Scout projects. The kids love it. They've done a lot of really fun stuff around the golf course. We encourage you, if you're looking for an Eagle project, call us. We can help you with that.
Yep, the work looks beautiful out there. To the ice arena we go, and things are picking up at a crazy pace there now as everyone looks like they're getting ready for their seasons to start. And I didn't know they started some practice this early, but they are.
Well, they are. So there's lots of them practicing this early. The elite players have been practicing, but now they're actually doing some serious warm-ups. And I guess what that means is they're not just skating around the ice and shooting the puck. They're actually doing some warm-ups. The other group that's doing this is the youth hockey. So we try to rent our ice out as much as we can in this shoulder season before the actual leagues start. And so all of these teams are coming in and they're doing all kinds of warm-ups now. In the meantime, there's a bunch of men's groups that are playing, that are renting it. So we're trying as much as we can to rent that ice as often as we can.
It looks like it is going very well. To the aquatic park, our final stop in Park and Rec. They are buttoning things up for the year. What are some of their final tasks?
Still cleaning the concession stand and the bathrooms, or the bathhouses. It takes a lot of work to do that. So there's still water in the pool. You can't go swimming. They'll be draining that soon, but that's what they're doing, just trying to get that cleaned up. The other thing is, from all this excessive rain, there's some turf that has to be repaired and just some maintenance on the grass that has to be done. So little by little, they're putting away all the equipment and getting things all cleaned up. So it'll be ready to go in the spring.
Very good. Final note to pass along. The city wants your input, and that is through the City Services Survey. Mayor, remind us again what that is, why it's important, and we've got still a little time to get that in, correct?
We do. So it has to be in by the 1st of October. However, it really helps if you fill it out early, because we take every one of those and read it. And then at the bottom, if you want to add a comment, we also read those. So if you've got a pothole, you've got a tree that needs to be taken down, you've got a curb that's coming apart, you didn't like something or you like something, we really need to hear that. So to fill it out early is a big benefit for us. We've got about 600 in already, and we're reading every one of them, and we're trying to take care of any situations that need to be taken care of. So if you didn't get one in the mail, or if you threw it away, you can always go online and do it. You go onto our website, or you can go into City Hall and get a paper ballot and just fill that survey out and hand it back in. So please do that. We do read them. We try to improve the city as much as we can through those city surveys.
All right, and that website again, newhopemn.gov. If you need to get another copy of that survey or fill it out online, you can do it there. Stick with us. We've got to look at some of the events coming up in the community in just a second. Mayor, thanks so much for joining us this week. Enjoy a great week, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you, Dave. See you next Monday. Bye-bye.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.